10F, receive a report and provide direction regarding the budget and funding for the 2017 Community Day in the Park event on June 4th, 2017.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, some time ago, following the delivery of the June 2016 Community Day event, the third annual such event, the City Council requested information and reconciliation regarding the costs of that event and the opportunity to consider funding for the delivery of the 2017 event. The purpose of this report is to outline plans and costs associated with the 2017 event and to allow the City Council to consider those and to provide direction regarding funding that you may be anticipating or requesting from the San Bruno Community Foundation and or other sources in order to assure delivery of that popular event. As in each of the previous years, the 2017 Community Day in the Park would include entertainment, food, rides, and games. Following the 2016 event, which was different than the two previous events in the fact that for the first time that event was coordinated with the Lions Club Posey Parade on the first Sunday of June. That actually went very successfully and received a lot of positive response from the community as an opportunity to take advantage of the crowds, the termination of the parade in the park, and in this case, thankfully, good weather and good camaraderie. We conducted a debrief with the Lions Club following the event, and while your staff report identifies a few more items of our debrief than I will recount, I wanted to call your attention to a couple of them because they have a relationship to the specifics of planning for 2017. First, the car show event that was a feature of the Posey Parade hosted by the Lions Club or conducted by the Lions Club. Staff is recommending that the 2017 event require mandatory pre-registration in order to allow for a more coordinated and seamless location of the cars and delivery of that car show event in coordination with Community Day, and no more than 90 entries into the Lions Club car show. We're also recommending that, and this is I would say a happy recommendation, that as you saw tonight, we have some very talented local musicians in our community, many of whom participate as a marching band in the Posey Parade. And we have some interest that was expressed last year in continuing that those bands be invited to perform as entertainment at the Community Day event. So they would march, they would perform in the parade, and then be part of the entertainment at the actual event later in the afternoon. We're proposing that would reduce the number of paid entertainment bands from 2 to 1, and would, as I said, allow an opportunity to showcase some of our local school talent in particular. In addition, staff is proposing that 2 additional rides be added for a total of 8 rides. The reason for that is to reduce what were significant wait times in the lines at the very popular amenity at the event, the rides. That is a cost consideration, as I will get to in just a moment. There's also a recommendation to make additional arrangements for food vendors, that again to reduce wait times and to provide additional amenity at the event. Getting to the costs associated with the 2017 event, in total, staff is proposing and budgeting a cost of $59,000, just under $59,000. This is approximately $7,000 more than the 2016 event, as you see in the chart that we've provided in the staff report. And that cost change is related to the two items that I just mentioned. First, a reduction in the paid entertainment line item, and secondly, an increase in the ride entertainment line item. In addition, and I want to, before I go to not shown staff costs, you'll notice that the staff overtime, which is a direct out-of-pocket cost directly attributable to the delivery of the event, is shown as a cost line item, and is shown in 2016 and 2017 at the same level. In addition to that direct out-of-pocket staff cost associated with the event, there is an additional staff time consideration that is attributable to the staff time devoted by full-time salaried exempt staff who plan, organize, conduct, and support the delivery and cleanup after the event. That cost is estimated at approximately $11,500. That amount is not shown in the $59,000 total cost of the event because it will be paid irrespective of whether the 2017 event is delivered. It represents in large measure an opportunity cost in that staff time could be devoted to other projects and activities if it's not required for the delivery of the Community Day event. As the City Council is aware, San Bruno Community Foundation generously stepped forward in 2016 with a contribution of $30,000 to support delivery of the Community Day event, and pledged going forward an amount to assure the continued delivery of the event. At the time of the original discussion with the Community Foundation, the Foundation's stated intent and desire was to gradually reduce the amount of the annual contribution to the Community Day event and to encourage and solicit community donations, community partnerships to fund at least a large part of the remaining balance of the cost of the event. In particular, the Community Foundation, as I said, funded $30,000 for the Community Day event in 2016 and anticipated a contribution or a grant of $25,000 for 2017. In discussions with the Community Foundation very recently on this topic, the Foundation has indicated an interest and flexibility in the amount that might be contributed by them, and they have in fact stepped forward very vigorously and made contacts within the community, and I'm very pleased to report the recent information that 2 community partnership donations have been confirmed, one by Google YouTube and one by Skyline College, both in the amount, each in the amount rather, of $5,000. So there is, I think, a very strong demonstrated desire within the community for this event to be successfully continued. In addition, revenues from the event itself are anticipated to generate approximately $12,500. This is the amount that was generated last year with the sale of 873 ride passes, wristbands that entitled the wearer to an unlimited fun time of riding the rides that were provided. So while we're recommending that the number of rides be increased, we do not feel that we can thoughtfully recommend to you that the revenues would actually increase substantially. Certainly we would devote considerable time and energy to advertising and promoting the availability of the wristbands and the amenity of the rides. But we were actually quite pleased with the $12,500 as an amount that was generated, and look forward to being able to generate that much again. Again, the San Bruno Community Foundation has demonstrated and expressed its strong interest to continue its working relationship with the city in delivery of, or in funding rather, of the 2017 Community Day event and beyond. And our intent tonight is to seek your direction regarding the funding and the delivery of the event per the comments that I've just made. The only remaining item for your information is a reminder that the city's operating budget does not currently include any financial participation or a budgeted line item beyond the exempt staff time that I previously mentioned. So with that, staff is interested in hearing the council discussion, happy to answer questions, and looking forward to your direction.
Okay. Ken?
I don't have any problems with the budget. I think it was explained after the event, the idea of, better rides, a couple of new better rides and everything, and I think that'll be good. My concern, and I'm going to state this, and I stated it earlier, is that this is Community Day in the park, and I believe, and as much as I want the city to be the lead in this event, I want the community to be engaged in this also. And that may mean that instead of printing up lawn signs and handing them out to anybody that wants to publicize it, maybe we actually engage the schools and certain other organizations and put a big sign at the school, so that they see it every day, for a couple months. Maybe those schools need to also be asked to help sell these ride bracelets instead of having to come down to the park recreation center and purchasing them. I think we need to make it a lot more easier. We need to publicize it more to the families of the community. Other than that, I think there's you're going to implement some other changes that I think will be, as far as food and things. It was first time that the Lions Club was involved in it, and there could probably be more options. But again, I think it needs to be community vendors, whether it's community organizations or San Bruno restaurants or something. I really think that people really frown on outsiders coming in and making money off of our residents. And so, again, if we can just emphasize community, and reach out and get their involvement. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else?
Mine was just really quick. It was the anticipation to have the same timeline of a street closure from the day before at 5:30, 6 o'clock through the next day at the same time, or do we know if that's different? Or is it too early?
When we debriefed from the 2016 event, and perhaps the police chief might want to weigh in on this, but I think that the discussion was to post 72 hours, consistent to other postings, so that people had 3 days' notice.
But no, as far as the actual time that
I
the
beg
city
your
parkway
pardon.
would be
I
closed.
beg your
I'm
pardon.
sorry.
Yes. We're generally talking about the same closure, and in fact, we always give ourselves a little bit more room on the back end for the breakdown of the rides, and it's a good thing that we did because we had some logistics issues in 16, and with the addition of 2 more rides, there will be more rides on City Parkway. So the closure will remain consistent with 2016.
And I would echo what Ken said in regards to community, the schools, really getting them engaged. I think that worked at the 100th to really bring them in. and make them a part of whether it was a booth activity or even having them do the wristbands, give a prize to the school that sells the most, whatever. But I would also concur that community-oriented is what it is. I think that's what the foundation had hoped for, was building this, starting it and having it thrive so that the community engages it, takes ownership of it, and it becomes truly not just the Posey Parade, but a day that is brought to you by the community and the city.
Irene, anything?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. I'll echo, the schools are so important. Getting them involved, they're going to show up. It's really building that community. I also will volunteer to be in a dunk tank, if we get a dunk tank, to raise some funds. I challenge all my colleagues
We'll volunteer to throw at that dunk.
Yes, all right. We'll have a high bid, and any other staff that is willing to join me. I think that would be a great way to raise some funds. But yes, it was great last year. I'm only expecting it to be better this year. Oh, and sorry. Advertising through YouTube and Nextdoor.com, and that's something that I think that we could focus on some more, so that we get more of a outreach to the online community.
Right. Connie, would you be looking for authorization for funds, say not to exceed a certain amount, just to cover? I'm confident that we're going to get some more sponsorships, but just in case we needed that cushion.
So yes, that would be very helpful. And a second piece of direction would be appreciated from the City Council. Nancy Krause is in the audience from the Community Foundation, and I believe she would be very interested in being able to report back to her board what the City Council's interests or expectations might be with respect to funding that could be provided by the Community Foundation itself. As I said, they paid $30,000 last year, and we're looking at something in the $25,000 range. My recommendation would be that we may want to consider requesting them to look at the $30,000 again, offset potentially if we were able to come up with more than $15,000 or $18,000 in community contributions. I mean, certainly we're not in this to make a profit, but looking for the pleasure of the council on that.
Yeah, at least the funds would be there on paper, and we could always, adjust those based on more donation. What kind of an amount do you think we should budget from the council just to have that budget in there, if in fact the foundation were to put in, let's say, $30,000?
Well, and this is, again, in addition to I don't want there to be any confusion about staff time. Right. This would be in addition to the dedication of staff, exempt staff time at a fairly significant level. I would say if the council could find their way to, let's say, $10,000. What? Yeah, the director is telling me if there's a dedication of $30,000 from the Community Foundation, with the $10,000 of already committed community partnership and $12,000 of wristbands, we're at $6,500. I'm actually expecting that there may be one more community partnership. There's another significant community business that the foundation is talking to. So between $5,000 and $10,000 would certainly do it, I think, for.
Are you just looking for direction tonight? I would recommend that the council budget a $10,000 figure. I would like Nancy to go to the foundation and see if she could budget $30,000. I also want to thank the foundation for reaching out to Google, YouTube, and Skyline College, and I want to thank them, personally from here for their participation. And I know you're going to reach out to a couple more entities, but I would like to make sure that those entities who are sponsoring this in such a large way really get recognized that day, whether it be banners or however it is, because I think that's important going forward. Once they know that their people are there and they're recognized by this council and the whole community of San Bruno, they're going to be doing it in the future. So that's my recommendation. I'd like to see what the rest of the council.
I like to recommend, but I would say not just that day being recognized
Right.
as sponsors, but I mean prior to, by flyers, from the very start, have it at a cutoff point and let the names be heard and let them be seen from that moment on. Yes to the to Nancy, if she's okay with going back. Yes, thank you, Nancy, and to the board for outreaching for sponsorships. And so thus far in the 216, 217, we have not allocated any monies from the budget?
No.
Zero at this point?
Right.
So,
That's correct.
thank you. So I'm in favor of the 5 and 10. I think we got to lead by example too.
Okay. Is everybody else okay with that? Okay. Do you have your direction?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nancy.